Hello. Oh my god, it's been so long since I last streamed. Let's play some music. Okay. Good evening. Right. It's been like what, 2 weeks now? Yeah, I think it must be 2 weeks. It's like before I went to Jakarta. No wait, it's actually before I went to Jakarta, that was the last one. It was an Elden Ring stream, I think. Yeah. And it took me a while. I've been wanting to stream again. Like actually last Sunday I wanted to live stream, but the tragedy that happened at the Kanjuruhan stadium happened on Saturday, and everyone was still caught up with it. I myself was kind of caught up with it as well, because it was a major tragedy. It got international coverage. Football teams from other countries paid tribute to the tragedy, and and as it so happens to be, as I was about to start the stream, I realized, wait, where is it? I saw it literally just now. Hope the audio is okay. There's literally a live stream from Najwa. And she's like literally at the stadium. This is the Ministry of... forgot what he would be. But this is basically in the stadium. This is the Ministry of Safety, Political Law, Menko Polhukam. Okay, wait. Coordinating Ministry for Political, Legal, and Security Affairs. For them, it's a tragedy. I might actually react to it. Just watch it in the next stream. Hopefully it will stay up. Part of me is honestly concerned that... oh, spoilers. Part of me is actually concerned that it might actually get taken down due to the controversy behind the coverage itself. But anyway, this will not be our... we will not be covering that today. I hope the music is not too loud. It's a bit too loud on my end, actually, so I might turn it down a bit. Yeah, there you go. Should be better now. Anywho, so for tonight, we'll be covering Fairwork. I stumbled upon this from Nabila Izzati. She's been popping off in the timeline, so to say, specifically on labor rights for gig workers. I've watched her in the Emancipate Talk webinar, talking about legal loopholes regarding the ride-hailing drivers in Indonesia and how they've been exploited by the platform companies. And I think like a while back, I stumbled upon her. Basically, she promoted this report called Fairwork, and it rates, to my understanding, Indonesia's platform companies in regards to its labor protection. And it's, from what I could see, it's an international initiative. They made the report for various countries, and I want to learn, like, I want to know what they are. That's one. That will be the plan. What is Fairwork? What do they measure per se? And also, well, what is their assessment about Indonesia? I've glimpsed through the report real quickly. Let's skim through, and it's more qualitative for sure, I think. from the looks of it. But I'm sure there are plenty of stories that we could derive from this, and also learning about the things that you need to look out for the workers in the platform economy. Anyway, let us begin with. Hang on, can I click that? There you go. They actually have an introductory video. Let's pause the music real quickly. Turn up the quality. Join the Fairwork pledge. Together for fair platform work. Oh.
From food delivery to freelance platforms.
The audio seems okay.
Is now everywhere. But platform workers often experience low pay, risky conditions, and violence. Fairwork rates platforms across the world against 5 principles of decent work. We give companies a fairness score out of 10 to show how they compare to one another. The range of platform scores in our rankings shows that precarity, exploitation, and dangerous working conditions.
So this is the index, I guess. The things that they measure: fair pay, fair conditions, fair contracts, fair management, and fair representation. Fair pay is pretty obvious. I think they're going to talk about the wages and like in a lot of countries, I forgot if it's passed or it has been repealed, but Uber managed to secure minimum wage for them. And there are actually platform companies that ensures minimum wage for their partners. They treat them as actual partners, at least in this case. And second one is fair conditions. I guess this speaks about work hours. Something to note is that the thing about these gig workers is that due to the low pay, it's almost like they're incentivized to work longer hours, which is convenient for the platform companies because they can say that, it's the beauty of gig workers, of the gig economy. You're allowed to be your own boss, to decide your own work hours, how long you're going to work. While at the same time, it glosses over the reality that they have harsh rating systems. They punish their partners. Again, it's a very hypocritical term to use. It's harsh rating systems. If they're immobile, if they're inactive, then they wouldn't be favored in the algorithm of these platforms. And something to note, especially, that they are not gig workers. That's something that's, I think, is fairly obvious by this point, that the reality is that they are not allowed to set their own rate. That's already violates the principles of gig worker. Because like when you look at freelancers, for instance, or even say marketplaces, the difference is that in marketplaces, your Amazons, or in the case of Indonesia, your Shopees, your Tokopedia, the merchants get to decide the prices of their goods, their products. Whereas in the case of ride-hailing drivers, which I'm assuming that's what we're going to be talking about, at least that's what they covered in the rating itself, is they don't. It's determined by the algorithm, and even the base rate, the base tariff and whatnot, it's all determined by the platform companies. So already it's they're lying essentially. And especially given the recent mass protests from the online drivers, you can see how they've been mistreated. There's plenty of studies. I think I'm kind of talking ahead of myself here. Let's just finish the video first so we can learn about what is Fairwork.
Are the result of choices made by platform companies, and they are choices that can be unmade. But change won't happen by itself.
Wait. That reminds me. So fair conditions about work hours. Next is fair contracts. Now that's interesting. I wonder what exactly they would cover. Is it well, I mean, when they enter the partnership, it's obviously there's going to be contracts involved, and I can already imagine that the fact that these companies, they target low-income households, low-income households, that there's a lot of manipulation that can happen there. When these people are exposed to legal terms that they don't necessarily understand, a lot of manipulation can happen when it comes to contracts. Me, as someone who has seen contract negotiations and how a lot of things can be hidden between the lines, and it can easily fuck someone over. That's why lawyers and whatnot are paid in hundreds of millions, in the tens of millions, I guess, not hundreds, to assess these contracts. So it would be interesting to know which angle are they going for. I think they covered this in their homepage, but they also have a specific playlist on their YouTube going through each of these principles. And the fourth one is also interesting, fair management. Because how would that actually apply? Are they talking about the company counterpart, the platform company counterpart, and how they manage the contract workers? And because being a gig worker essentially makes you a contract worker / freelance, so you're kind of independent. At least that's what they're selling, right? But in reality, I guess we'll have to see what they've uncovered in their investigation. And the fifth one is fair representation. I guess that speaks for itself, due to the fact that these workers are individuals. They are scattered all over the place. It's going to be very difficult to get a proper megaphone, to speak your concerns, your problems. Although, I covered this in the previous live stream when the tariff for online drivers were increased. That is interesting to see that these drivers were able to unionize. I think Arif Nofianto, he coined the term wildcat strikes, which consists of small groups of drivers who then gather together through WhatsApp groups who then went on strike. But anyway, I guess we'll see.
Can be unmade, but change won't happen by itself. We need your help. We're asking organisations that share our vision for fairer platform work to join us in demanding platforms to do better. The Fairwork Pledge is open to businesses, universities, schools, charities, local governments, religious institutions, investors and other organisations.
I love the fact that investors and other organizations have no color. Ooh, sneaky.
Your organisation can help improve working conditions in the platform economy in so many ways. You can pledge to avoid using bad scoring platforms. You can commit to investing in fairer alternatives or disseminate Fairwork ratings with your staff. There are many ways to put our scores into action that we can explore together. With your help, we can hold platforms to account. Take a stand and sign up your organisation today. It's easy and free. Join the pledge today at fair.work/pledge.
So yeah, they have a manifesto, which I guess we'll go through at one point. Some interesting systems. Hello, Arya. My God, hi. Hello, dude. Congrats on the premiere. I will be watching that with Chichit on Saturday. Would be interesting to go to watch that. And what was I saying just now? Yeah, they have a manifesto, I guess, going through their principles and how they assess it. And it is interesting that Maybe need your help.
We're asking organisations that share our. The Fairwork Pledge is open to business working conditions in the platform economy in so many ways. You can pledge to avoid using bad scoring platforms.
Bad scoring platforms. I wonder what they mean by that.
Investing in fairer alternatives.
Now, investing in fairer alternatives, there's this one specific example that I can think of. In New York, I think, is the driver co-op. Yeah, the drivers cooperative. Is it in New York? Yeah, it's in New York. I wonder how they're doing. They really they've kind of disappeared from the news cycle, I guess. About contact, but anyway, the way that this company works is that it's like a workers cooperative. So they really meant it when they say that the drivers are their partners. I mean, they're practically the owner, even that you can opt in to buy the shares of the cooperative, and that way the profit sharing is equal. Like every driver gets the same. Well, not the same, I guess. That the profits are distributed evenly, and on top of that, you still get paid from your fares and whatnot. And I think they are also cheaper than Uber, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's interesting to see things like this because then, I mean, it would be nice if something like this could come up in Indonesia, but of course, then you need a lot of infrastructure that goes with it, especially in the back end in developing the apps and whatnot. In the case of drivers, the drivers cooperative, they have people from ex-Uber, I think, that resigned and, became one of the founders of this company. And the two other people, I forgot who they were. I think they were the drivers themselves. They are drivers themselves. One of them is a professor as well, I think. I'm not sure. The business dogma inside me. Yes, our movie date. Complain to me after. Complain to you? Okay. Right. I mean, I watched the trailer of Pamali. It doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty... I can see that it is very contained. Like, so it's situated in one house. I mean, it's pretty much like the game, right? So yeah, it's gonna be fun, I imagine. Super excited to see the movie. The business dogma inside me still drives me to believe that worker co-ops are difficult to scale, but the human inside me believes that workplace democracy is the way to go. Yeah. Oh god, we're opening a can of worms here. Yeah, worker co-ops. Like, given the current society, I can see why that would be difficult. I think, given the way that we are so, like, society is so individualized in a lot of ways, that everything is in the pursuit of your own self-interest, that the notion of supporting other people is very foreign to a lot of people, specifically those from the middle to upper class. And even if they show a sense of care of others' well-being, oftentimes it's for only for the sake of performative, and it's all performative. It's not genuine. Yeah, so it's still a long way, but nevertheless, I think it still has to be encouraged so that when you look at small examples, such as, hopefully, I don't know how this company is doing, like the drivers cooperative, it can inspire other people that, hey, there are actually other ways to organize your workplace. Because I think, as capitalism continues to develop, the flaws begin to show even more, with each passing day, right? And workers, even those in the professional career, they're suffering in a lot of ways. They feel like they're overburdened. There are tons of expectations, and things are becoming increasingly, less affordable. So that way, hopefully, they will be more open to, revolutionary ideas like cooperatives, and would actually care more about more things than just money. But I digress. So, alternatives, your stuff. This is such a liberal framework, but okay, it's fine. Let's boycott the platforms. Well,
together. With
guess we'll
your
see.
help,
Can hold them to account, extend, sign up. So the pledge is interesting because when I saw maybe not here, but there's a manifesto or something. Ratings, sponsors, blah blah. Quick works methodology. Okay, let's see. Join the pledge. Let's see what's what. The gig economy is growing fast. We are seeking to engage. Join the pledge here. So this is more for or organizations. The page that I saw like before the stream, it's for individuals to sign this manifesto, which will go through. It's what was I going to say? Because there will be this convention from ILO, the International Labor Organization, and it's going to one of the themes was to talk about fair work, and they will be presenting there. They will be present there. So yeah, let's look at the principles, because I'm interested in looking at fair management and fair contracts. I wonder what they mean by that. Starting with fair pay. Leave it a like.
Lee had been looking for a job for a while,
Bit louder.
but was struggling to find work.
Okay, this is way louder. I hope you guys generally enjoy it. This does look interesting though, by the way. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, this isn't like what I find most interesting is that this is an international effort, and they seem to reach out to developing countries. Like I saw, hang on, let me just lower this thing. Okay, so when you look at the reports talking about countries like the dark mode is not really working. Tanzania, Indonesia, South Africa, Pakistan. It's interesting to see these countries, you know. Well, I mean, we have France here, I guess. It's a more developed one. Colombia, Argentina. It's not like it's not like UK, it's not like the US. It's pretty interesting to see this. Oh, Jacobin. Hello. Fairwork blocks. Yeah. Anyway, so fair pay.
Until a friend suggested Drively, a ride-sharing app. Drively promised Lee could set his
still
own
too
hours,
loud.
he wouldn't have a boss breathing down his neck, and most importantly, he could finally stop worrying about paying the rent.
Okay, let's repeat that.
Lee had been looking for a job for a while, but was struggling to find work, until a friend suggested Drively, a ride-sharing app. Drively promised Lee could set his own hours, he wouldn't have a boss breathing down his neck, and most importantly, he could finally stop worrying about paying the rent.
The lies of gig economy.
A few months later, things aren't going to plan. Work's not actually that flexible, and more drivers signing up to Drively forces Lee to compete for jobs and always work peak hours. He has to work at least 10 hours a day just to earn a wage after covering fuel and car payments.
This is exactly what happened to Gojek drivers. Like initially when they joined, well, Grab as well, I guess. Initially when the company just started, they could earn like twice the minimum wage or something, or even 3 times sometimes, in some occasions. But as the company grew and they recruited more drivers, then all of a sudden, that's not the case. And yeah, you can make the argument that the plummet, so to say, happened because of the pandemic. And yeah, I don't think I've seen any figures in 2019, but in 2020, it fell dramatically to a point that you can't even get minimum wage. At least that's what I've seen from the study by Arif Novianto, who conducted a survey of payments that these workers, these drivers were getting. Not just the wages, but also the work hours. They also have to work 10 hours a day for the most part. And I'm pretty sure like you've got drivers where they told you that they've been working the entire day, and they, like, I've heard complaints that they just simply have to do it because they have to meet the targets to get the incentives and whatnot to cover the daily expenses. And yeah, so yeah, the bosses, so to say, that's breathing down their neck may not be a physical one, but it's the algorithm.
And the car always needs expensive maintenance. When fuel prices jumped recently, Drively refused to help drivers,
How topical.
forcing Lee to work even longer hours to make up the difference. And now, Drively is increasing their cut on every ride.
And that's the next fucked up part. Oh god. Okay. I guess this is a pattern then. That it just didn't happen in Indonesia, but also in other countries. Because that is exactly what happened here. In Gojek, for instance, before the merger with Tokopedia, they cut off the incentive to a point that even when you delivered, well, this is specific to what's it called? Gosen drivers, right? The amount of incentive that you get was cut in half essentially. Like they made the claim that it's actually better for the drivers because now you don't have to deliver a certain amount of packages in order to get the bonus, but you get the bonus per packages that you deliver. So on paper, it sounds like it's a good deal, but when you actually scrutinize the numbers, it's actually way worse than that. I think it was, like, say if you deliver like 20 packages or something, in the old scheme compared to the new scheme, it's like, 50% lower. So it's awful. Like, it explains why at the time, I think they actually went on strike because of that change. And the most fucked up part is that despite them being their partners, the platform company didn't consult the drivers at all. It's a decision that was made one-sided. So yeah. One of many atrocities that they've done.
Paying next month's rent is going to be difficult, but Lee's not alone.
Oh, and the thing is, like, when it comes to countries like Indonesia, it's difficult to get a job in the first place. So, and it's difficult to get a job in the first place. And even if you do, it's not exactly an improvement because, well, our labor regulations is fucked in a lot of ways. So that way, you don't really have an option. You're just stuck in this situation, and it's difficult to push back unless you unionize, you arrange a strike, which these drivers have done. Again, I couldn't stop mentioning how almost beautiful to see these drivers from WhatsApp groups to then develop their own association, drivers association. So that's cool.
Paying next month's rent is going to be difficult, but Lee's not alone. He discovered a chat group with hundreds of other Drively drivers who all had the same complaints. They'd figured out that after expenses, many drivers don't even earn the minimum wage.
Yeah, exactly.
Drively says Lee's an independent contractor, and they're not responsible for what he earns, but he relies on the platform to make...
Oh god. It's such a predatory practice that they simply shift the risk all to the driver. Again, this is why, maybe this is where the contract comes in, because this is one of the many things that the platform companies can fuck these people over.
Make a living. What if you get sick and can't work? It just doesn't seem fair. Lee and his co-workers don't think drivers should have to shoulder all the costs, leaving companies like Drively to make massive profits. Their CEO has no idea what life on the road is like. Platforms are choosing to give workers unsafe and unfair working conditions. But things don't have to be this way. Gig workers rely on platforms to survive, and just like other workers, they deserve to earn a wage that they can live on.
Yep.
Lee's ready to fight for change. Platforms can step up to their responsibilities and choose fair pay for workers. We can all help Lee to hold them to account.
I'm still waiting, like, how exactly can we, push back against these platform companies? Like, aside from the conventional, you need to organize and protest against the government, let's say, because that's pretty much the only way, because you can't exactly boycott these platforms, not at this rate, at least. You can build an alternative, but then that would require a huge amount of cost. I mean, maybe you can make like small scale, the drivers cooperative, like city by city. Maybe that way you can kind of siphon the market. But again, the concern would be They're major corporations backed by venture capitalists that, I mean, you will be out-financed in a lot of ways. You would generate competition probably. They will lower the rates, the tariffs, but who knows what will happen to the drivers. Anyway, I'm still looking for some proper actions that we can do instead of, just the usual, hey, do you know that rating of this company is abysmal, let's say. But at the same time, though, I think it's still worth, maybe the rating itself is not really a strong, strong weapon. I couldn't really think of another word, but like the assessments, the nuances behind it, because a lot of people don't actually know that Gojek cut off the incentive for the drivers, they lowered the tariffs one-sidedly and all that. They don't know. They don't know the stories behind it. And the thing is, like, whenever they see these drivers protesting, a lot of them are still working with they perceive it with still with the notion that they're making higher than a minimum wage, which right now they simply don't. So I guess that's one way of doing it, to actually put a light on these issues, put a spotlight on it, and having an institution like this to communicate these issues, these atrocities, in a way that resonates with the consumers, the privileged people, then that would help. I mean, awareness goes a long way. I guess that's what I would say. It's not enough, for sure, but it's a good place to start. Let's go with the next one. Fair conditions.
Ray and his family recently moved to a new city. Ray needed work and found a recruitment ad for a food delivery app called Deli. The ad said that you can choose your own hours and all you need is a motorbike. Ray found an old bike that still went all right. The sign-up process was easy. Before he knew it, he joined thousands of delivery riders on the road. He waited long hours with other riders outside restaurants just for an occasional job. He got to know his colleagues. Many were new to the city, like him. Sometimes there were problems. If a restaurant
just about that, like, waited long hours
outside restaurants,
like, fuck, man. Just knowing that, like, seeing people forcing these drivers to wait for hours for viral restaurants and all that. Like, even sometimes I honestly feel guilty. Like, sometimes I order sushi tei, for instance, and oftentimes there would be a long queue, and I would feel bad. I mean, instead of that driver having to wait for my order, they could have been getting other orders. They could have finished like 2 or even 3 during that waiting time. And I hope, although I doubt it, that everyone that does this, they realize like what they're doing, that should at least compensate these drivers for waiting. I mean, if it is like a fair platform, maybe there should be a waiting cost, for instance. But yeah, I don't know.
Just for an occasional job. He got to know his colleagues. Many were new to the city, like him. Sometimes there were problems. If a restaurant got an order wrong, customers gave Ray bad reviews. Once he was nearly bitten.
No, in this case, hang on. I'm glad that they, like, at least for Grab, I don't know about Gojek, they kind of have different ratings for the driver and the merchants. Although I'm not sure how, like, whether the customers, the consumers, rate them properly based on the function. Because you'll never know. Maybe this still happens where when it's actually the restaurant's fault in getting the order wrong, but the driver gets the sharp end of the stick. And the ratings the rating system is very punishing. You get 1 star once, and all of a sudden, then fuck, and then you don't get as many orders. Sometimes you get suspended as well. It's really harsh, and it's really difficult for the drivers to actually push back. So yeah.
By a customer's dog. But Ray was fast, worked hard, and didn't complain. Ray's family was worried about his safety on the road. Other delivery apps gave their riders helmets, protective clothes, and reflective gear for night riding. But Delhi said that was Ray's responsibility as an independent contractor.
Again, you can see a pattern here. They're shifting all their obligations that they would have provided given it's a full-time employee, and assuming that you're in a country that has strong labor protection regulations, which we don't. It should have been their obligation. But in this case, because they're independent contractors, because they're partners, they can shift the obligation.
One rainy night, Ray was in an accident, injuring his hand. Delhi said he wasn't entitled to compensation because he was self-employed. The other local riders pulled together some of their savings to help Ray pay the rent while he couldn't work.
And this is where we get to the GoFundMes, the depressing GoFundMes from nurses who couldn't afford their daughter's operation or medication that they have to go to GoFundMe to rely on other people's charity instead of guaranteeing that they could get better pay, better insurance scheme, and so on. Like, jeez.
Ray and his friend contacted Delhi's help centre, asking for protective gear and accident insurance. They said, "You're profiting from putting us in harm's way. You owe us some protection." Delhi seemed like they were listening, but the real bosses were in a different country.
The VCs.
6 months later,
the cabal.
nothing changed, and a rider recently lost their life in an accident. Platforms are choosing to give workers unsafe and unfair working conditions. But things don't have to be this way. Gig workers rely on platforms to survive.
They're repeating the same line?
Other workers deserve to be safe at work.
True.
Ray's ready to fight for change. Platforms can step up to their responsibilities and choose fair conditions for workers. We can all help Ray to hold them
to account. Neato. God, 250,000 people watching the Kanjuruhan in Naswasia. We're gonna have to watch it, I think. What was it? So, got that. Man, it's already an hour. No, half an hour, right? Fair contracts, here we go. The juicy bits.
Anna is a delivery rider. She uses her own bike and an app called Platform to get delivery jobs from clients. Anna and her fellow workers using Platform, like Cleaner Joe and online consultant Luke, truly value flexible working.
Mm-hmm.
They can be their own boss and make work fit within their busy lives.
I hate that term. Like, at this point, it's been bastardized. Be your own boss. It's like a red flag already. It's like it smells like a scam.
But even though Anna, Joe and Luke are free to choose when to work, their families depend on Platform for income. Platform is actually in control. It sets the rules which workers must agree to. Its algorithms give some workers more jobs than others. If workers don't do things the right way, Platform can even drop their ratings, making finding new jobs harder.
There you go. Like, oh, you can be your own boss. You can decide your own hours. No. You're subservient to the algorithm, which is designed in favor of the platform companies.
Platform can even choose to deactivate workers if their scores drop too low, kicking them off the app and removing their income. As there are so many people looking for jobs, Platform just sign up new workers. It also takes a massive cut from workers' earnings. But when workers get sick or something goes wrong, Platform doesn't help.
Speaking of that, I sincerely hope that the platform companies, they've adjusted the commission that they take from the drivers. Because I think, what was it? Initially it was 20%, but from the new regulation it became 15%. And yet, like during the the deadline, which was, I forgot, was it October or September? 15th September, I think. Most of them didn't, comply to the regulation. So of course, the drivers went on a protest.
His earnings.
I think harder policies on monitoring, reviewing, and auditing algorithms are crucial, but it's such a messy topic to dissect. Yeah, it's like really hard. I mean, do you make it like open access or something? And like, does the government even have the capacity to assess these algorithms? It's it's really difficult. I think the main thing really is like change the rating system. I think that's one, and allow the drivers to push back. Like give them a voice to actually tell their part of the story, instead of just assuming that because they're generally people from low income households, then they would be the one who fuck up instead of the customers. But the algorithm though, fuck. Cause like, I mean, if indeed that it can easily be proven that if you're not active, then you will not be favored by the algorithm, then that's clearly a violation. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's difficult because ultimately those are the key mechanisms underlying these platforms. Yeah, it is. More exposure that they actually have power is so important. Yeah. Or, I mean, you can go the co-op way. Like, maybe, like, let's say that maybe there could be an algorithm, a platform that co-ops that consists of drivers can simply lease. Maybe that could work. That way, by leasing them, all of these co-ops have the same algorithms, but at the same time, they don't have to bear the cost of capital. They simply have to organize and create their own small little co-ops in one city after another. Maybe that could work. But again, who would come up with that? Who's willing to do that?
But when workers get sick or something goes wrong, platform doesn't help.
Yeah, this is also another issue. They don't provide health insurance. Although I think, hang on, let me check. It was a report, by the way. What was it? Go check. I think they do. Okay, this is straight from the company. Let's see. So you provide ease of access, but is it like, does it come out of the pockets of the drivers, or does Gojek pay for it? Oh, they still have to pay for it. I think that's what I get from here. So they're only encouraging BPJS to provide ease of access, but not. Yeah, they don't bear the cost. I mean, God forbid they bear the cost. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's only access. Fuck you. It's BPJS Ketenagakerjaan. You're the one who's supposed to pay for it, dumbass. Yeah. Well, never mind then.
Because the platform classifies workers as self-employed, it says it's not
responsible.
Anna would love to be the boss of her own time, but she feels like platform is in charge. It takes lots of the profit, but she takes all the risk. Employment contracts usually come with minimum levels of protection to make
True.
jobs fair. Most gig workers don't have employment contracts, but they deserve protection too. Platforms are choosing to give workers unsafe and unfair working conditions, but things don't have to be this way. Gig workers rely on platforms to survive, and just like other workers, deserve basic employment rights.
Bro, I was shocked. Let's go pitch deck tomorrow. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Hey, I mean, you have the chops for it now, don't you, Arya? I was so shocked to see Gojek platform at like 6,000 platform cost. Oh yeah, oh, they're fucking the customers as well. Believe me when I say that. Jeez. It's just classic tactics, I guess. Although in this case, their key difference is that they have a huge conglomerate supporting them, so that they can actually burn enough money to become huge in a short amount of time and fuck us over.
And protections. Anna's ready to fight for change. Platforms can...
And that would be interesting, like a pitch deck. I mean, assuming that we have a better Ministry of Communications, that would be the way, right? We reach out to them, we give them a pitch like, hey, these platform companies that they're fucking over the gig workers. Let's help them out, you know? Let's I mean, they keep saying that we need to make our own search engine. How about we create our own algorithm for the gig workers? Maybe we can start there.
Can step up to their responsibilities and choose fair contracts for workers. We can all help Anna to hold them to account.
Okay, I guess we're repeating the same points. Fair contracts. Right. It's interesting like how complex this issue is, that a lot can be said even from their core principles. You can already see the problems that arise from this.
Domestic cleaner, but recently started to struggle finding new clients.
Oh god, I'm immediately reminded by GoClean. Like, it's so unfortunate that they actually disbanded the branch. I think it was Go Home. Ironic, Go Home. Like, I found it very useful, especially for laundries, for cleaning my apartment at the time. I wonder what happened to them. Like, did they actually make their own platform? Well, they wouldn't have the infrastructure for that, I imagine. But yeah, again, it's a decision that was made like one-sided, that they just suddenly decided like, hey, sorry, we can't keep you anymore. You're no longer profitable. Bye bye. Have a nice life. Fucking hell.
She turned to a new app called Sparkly.
Bro, I was shocked to see. Wait, how difficult would it be to enter this market? Quite difficult, I imagine. Especially for online drivers, I guess. There's a lot of marketing that comes with it. I think there has to be a more universal condemnation against these platform companies, which I guess we're kind of peering towards that. But mostly from our own perspective as consumers, that, oh, we have to pay platform fees, oh, we have to pay all sorts of shit. And from consumers, they realize that when you buy food and whatnot, they have to jack up the price so that the merchants can cover the platform fee for them. The platform commission, I don't know what it's called exactly. If there's more condemnation towards that direction, as well as on the side of the drivers, realizing the severity of the situation, how they're being fucked over, then I guess there will be more acceptance, given that there are other platforms that arise. Like, I mean, right now, hang on. So like in this thing, hang on, this report. So we got these guys, right? Like, when have you seen Maxim? This is pretty rare, and that's like a, what was it? That's probably like the most well-known niche platform. I don't even know, like, why is GoBox separated? What the hell is that? I don't even know. Wait, fuck. What was I gonna do? Right. GoBox, Indonesia. It's probably from Gojek, right? Yeah. How come it's separated? That's interesting. Maxim, and I have no idea who these are. Lala Move has been I mean, I know delivery, but is there actually delivery in? Oh, there is, but it's for cargos, right? So I guess it's not really the conventional ride hailing. It also covers, well, down here you see Shopee Food and Traveloka Eats, and we know already that Shopee Food is not really doing so good right now, and Traveloka Eats was just recently disbanded. So yeah. Lala Move is one of the smaller package delivery platform, I guess. Do they have their own app or something? How do you get them? Is it like, because I've never seen the option. Yeah, I guess you kind of have to do you order it? Okay, hello. There you go. This is the app. I see. Okay. Interesting. And they're paid even lower than, well, of course, you have to compete against Grab and Gojek. So like, I think, like, of course, there's the first mover advantage, right? Unless you offer lower rates, then I don't think you can compete against the incumbents. And the current tariffs for the current rates for the incumbents are low as it is already. Unless you want to fuck over the drivers even more, I don't think it's feasible. But I don't know. Maybe if we take out the commission fee for the platforms, maybe it will be profitable. It would still be a feasible business to have. I don't know. Get certified and etc. Imagine building an open source platform. Yeah, open source. There you go. That's the term I was looking for. Where groups of workers can host their own servers like game servers. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, that's what I meant when I said that we could go to the Ministry of Communication. Like, here you go, bro. This is the Indonesian algorithm that all drivers can use on their own in their small niche and whatnot. That they don't have to rely on these mega corporation to support them, for them to do their job. Policy-wise, how difficult would it be if, let's say, I was to build this open source system? Policy-wise, ooh. I don't know. Like, you definitely have to go through the whole PSA thing, right? Yeah. Which I guess, considering that gambling sites could get passed there, so maybe it's not that stringent. So maybe establishing the system wouldn't be that hard, but marketing the product itself maybe wouldn't be that easy unless you have people who can be your megaphones. And unfortunate as it may be, if we only leave it to the drivers, then I think it's going to be an uphill battle before it could reach critical mass. In terms of government not letting me operate, I think they would just allow you to operate, unless, of course, the lobbyists. And we know that these companies have their own government relations. Am I right? So that would probably the main challenge to fight against the lobbyists, I guess. And knowing that the government is not really, they don't really look to score good boy points by looking out for the little guy. They only think about profits, so yeah, it's probably going to be a bit difficult. There's a huge leverage to gain the current drivers from these platforms. Yeah, absolutely. If you offer higher rates, I imagine you could, but the question is it financially viable? I think that would be my main question. I mean, you probably know better in terms of the cost of holding these servers. So, I mean, if you try to extrapolate knowing the amount of money that these people make, specifically in the middle management all the way to the higher ups, I guess maybe they're making way more money than they could if we could trim down those compensation. And also, well, come to think of it, since now basically we are only creating the algorithm, the system, right, for these drivers to use. We cut off the middleman, which is these white collar workers, so to say. And the task really is only to maintain the server. Yeah. And the marketing can be done organically, like in small scale. But I guess if you want to do it properly, it has to be like happen simultaneously in several major cities. You have to launch it simultaneously, even though if they are managed like separately by each of these drivers associations in these cities. I guess we can actually leverage the National Drivers Association. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're just thinking out loud here. Would it be better to just start small, improve the concept instead of going guff? Yeah, absolutely. But getting the system passed, you have to go through the government, and I think you can do that. I think you can definitely do that due to the low regulatory boundaries of getting it passed. And I guess we can almost organize this like the wildcat strikes. You start small, like you said, and little by little it becomes large. Like almost all of the drivers would flock to this app to use our algorithm, our system. System and hard marketing through word of mouth. Yes. Policy is what I consider the kill zone. Let the drivers set the prices. Let the drivers host the servers. Democratize the platform tech is essentially what this discussion is. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the key. Absolutely. Let the drivers set the prices. And allow them, like it's like the drivers cooperative approach, right? That maybe let's say that there's still a commission fee, but it's like for the worker cooperative itself, so that they have cash reserve which can be used for, I don't know, say if someone had an accident, we can help cover them, and also to pay commission to maintain the server. And at the end of the year, their profits can be distributed to all the drivers in the cooperative. Yeah. And imagine we we come up with some kind of like Mondragon style federation of drivers cooperatives. That would be cool. Worker co-ops is the apt system for enterprise like this. The problem is price competitiveness without VC cash subsidizing low price. Hello, Alnick. Worker co-op is the app system for enterprise. Yep, I agree. The problem is price competitiveness without VC cash. Yeah, although this would be a great momentum, right? Because these VCs are tightening their belts. So considering that all of these platforms are not profitable yet, there's only so much money that they can burn at this point, right? Although then again, I mean, they're trying to make their money back. I think that's the trend at the moment. And who knows what lengths they would go through, to make sure that happens. Yeah. But yeah, definitely the co-op approaches. I wonder what the economics would be if it was broken down going through in the open source way. Hey, I mean, I imagine you have better knowledge in terms of the cost of maintaining servers, right? And say like if you have to handle like the entirety of Bandung, let's say, what's the population of Bandung? what's this? 2.5 million people. I mean, I don't know the technicalities of like how does it work exactly? Does it depend on the amount of people active in the server? I think that's the way it is, right? Yeah. So like you get a fraction of these people to use your platform. But again, oh wait, hang on. So if you have this system, do you also design the app as well? So like, so you have all of the infrastructure, the app, you need the server, and the drivers simply have to buy the rights to it, to lease the rights to use the infrastructure. I think that's pretty much it, right? Yes? Yeah, I think you mentioned they're not stupidly expensive. That would be an interesting experiment if someone does it. Anyway, we still haven't finished the core principles of Fairwork. We need to keep going. The client side would be through one party for ease of access. Yeah. Through one party, as in the people who create the app, the infrastructure, right? That would be the one access through one party. Wait. The client side would be through one party, as in like, is it the people who create the system, the infrastructure, or are you saying like the cooperatives have to be one party, but the backend would be democratized, ran through a bunch of smaller cost servers, horizontal scaling? Yeah, to which one? Okay, there's a delay. I need to remember that. But yeah, it wouldn't be a great experience to have a bunch of apps. Of course, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I guess it would make sense to have one app, but localize per region. I mean, that's pretty much what they're doing right now, right? You can't exactly get a driver from, say, you would only get drivers from the closest location, right? Yeah. But then how do you get the co-op running? Maybe it doesn't have to be like the commission fee doesn't have to go to the how do you manage the commission fee for the system provider? Do you charge it per driver? Probably, I guess. One app, but the backend platform is ran by each driver group hosting each server. Exactly like a game server infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, we're getting Stunlock, but it's definitely an interesting idea to see if it could happen. It only takes like one generous person, Apologies. No, that's fine. Imagine being able to choose from a bunch of driver groups or guilds. Yeah. Although I guess it would be more convenient if, say, but then when you say guilds in one area, in one city, then I fear that competition would be abound, and you don't really want a turf war between the guilds, right? Although, to be fair, they're they have a common enemy, which is the platform. So I guess in that case, that's the foundation of their solidarity. Yeah. It'd be better if it's like one city after another. That would be better, I think. Anywho, so Sparkly, hello. What do you have here?
After signing Sparkly's lengthy conditions, she was ready to work. Sparkly was very convenient at first.
To release it as a game. Arya, no. Okay, stop it. Stop it.
And soon nearly all of Sadia's income was coming from the app. But Sparkly has a lot of rules. If Sadia was more than 10 minutes late, she'd get a bad rating. Once a client gave her a bad review for breaking a cupboard handle, but the handle was already broken when she arrived. Sparkly took the cost of the handle out of her earnings. One day, Sparkly gave Sadia 2 bookings on opposite sides of town. The cost of transport really adds up when you have to catch 2 buses between bookings. She arrived 15 minutes late and automatically got a bad rating. But it was the 3rd time she'd been late that month. When she tried...
Somehow this reminds me of Mother? I think that's the series, right? Mother, Netflix. What is it called? No, it's not The Mother. Is it this one? No, it's not. It's not a Korean series. Shit, is that Mother? I forgot what it's called. Fuck. Netflix movie. Series. No, it's not Sense of Her. Oh, it didn't really... Yeah, this is the one. This series. Maid. It's called Maid. Jesus, I was wrong. But it reminded me of this because like she had to go like cross the ferry. Like she worked in a small I don't know what it's called, cleaning company, I guess. Yeah. And they generally hire illegal immigrants, and it sounds really awfully familiar to this because she has to bear all of the costs. She has to get her own mop, cleaning equipment and all that, and she had to pay for the transportation. And because America is very car dependent, and since you have to cross the ferry as well to go to the houses that hire the services of this cleaning company, she had to bear all of those costs. She had to get her own car as well. Yeah. Again, labor protection laws. Jesus, like, fuck.
Tried to open the app, a message appeared. Your Sparkly account
has been deactivated
because your rating has fallen below 4.
And in the case of the maid, she got fired, I think, at one point of the movie.
You will no longer be able to accept Sparkly jobs. Sadia was devastated. Without her income from Sparkly, her family wouldn't be able to pay the rent that month. How is it possible that Sparkly could just take her work away like that? She called Sparkly's office and begged them to reactivate her account. The person she spoke to said, "Sorry, but these are the conditions you agreed to when you signed up." But the conditions were in legal jargon that she hadn't really understood.
This is exactly what I mentioned at the beginning. Like, because it's like they're intentionally targeting low-income households. You shove them with this contract, which I think, like, if I'm not mistaken, for the online drivers, they get the contract online. They get to read it on their phone or something. And that's how they signed it even. And so they have no legal counsel when they do it as well. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. And like I said, a lot can happen between the lines. A lot of manipulation.
Firing workers unfairly, but these laws don't apply to apps like Sparkly.
Because they are independent contractors again and again.
To give workers the due process to not have their livelihood taken away without warning. Sadia is ready to fight for change. Platforms can step up.
Yes. Fair representation. Okay, is this talking about unionizing?
All over the world are opting for the freedom of working through digital platforms. Taxi drivers, delivery riders, cleaners, beauty technicians, care workers, and free.
Yeah, they made really good series. Did we watch it together over Discord? I think, didn't we? We definitely watched it together though. Yeah.
Freelancers now connect with clients and earn a living with the help of an app. For gig workers, the benefits are attractive. Work your own hours, and the app takes care of necessary tools and expertise to do the job. But gig workers all over the world are now discovering that's not really how it works. Even though they're self-employed, the apps have a huge amount of control over how work is completed, how much is paid, and even safety at work. They have the power to provide work, but also take livelihoods away without warning.
I think that's like the biggest scam of the decade, probably. You're tricking people into thinking that they're they are their own boss, and when in reality it couldn't be farther from the truth.
In reality, workers don't seem to have much power at all.
Yeah.
The CEOs of these companies make huge salaries out of the hard work of those on the ground.
That's the most fucked up part. Like, jeez, I'm so disgusted to learn about this, and seeing. Fuck. No, I'm not gonna go there.
Their distant shareholders rely on drivers, riders, cleaners, freelancers, and other essential workers, but they don't give back. As an individual worker, it's hard to make a stand against unfair terms, but together, far more can be achieved. All workers, including gig workers, have the right to collective association. It's in the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. We can organise ourselves and demand better from platforms. Workers are starting to do this all over the world, and the great news is the tide is starting to turn. Platforms are choosing to give workers unsafe and unfair working conditions. They have the right to use and recognise.
That's honestly beautiful. Again, that people are starting to become more aware that you have no choice but to collectivize against these companies. And as we watch it together, Anyway, so Fairwork. What the hell is Fairwork? Should we just go straight to the report? I think so. Time is of the essence. Should we start with, hang on. Because I saw this from, wait, hold. Okay, you. Give me a moment. Let me get my Twitter bookmark real quickly. So this is the manifesto, which I think I've downloaded as well. It's not here. It's in... Where the hell did I put it? Anyway, Global Manifesto, Fair Platform Work. In anticipation of the International Labour Organization meetings of experts on decent work in the platform economy, this is going to happen tomorrow at 3 p.m. London time, so 9 p.m. our time. Manifesto argues that fair conditions for platform workers should be in place to address this lack of rights and protections. It advocates for the urgency of international guidelines that will promote fair platform work standards in national statutory regulations and policies. It outlines the challenges posed by these new labor relations in crucial aspects, such as misclassification. I think that's what's happening to us, because these online drivers, they legally they are classified as partners when in fact they're not. Low pay, health and safety risks, discrimination, non-transparent algorithmic management. That's what you raised just now, are you? And lack of representation and collective bargaining. True. And these are the signatories, like people from all over the world. And wait, I think I just saw Nabila. Nabila Aizati. Hello, from Ugam. Swear to God, people from Ugam, you guys are so cool. I admire you guys. Like, even the labor movements a lot of them comes from there. At least from my very limited understanding. Okay, a lot of them are from London, I notice. At least from skimming through. Or the UK. Although that could simply be my bias. But the manifesto, so Fair Platform Work Manifesto. So this is their manifesto. A global manifesto for fair platform work. We, the signatories around the world committed to protecting platform workers' rights and improving their working conditions, urge the ILO. Oh, so they're not part of the ILO. I see. Fairwork, part of University of Oxford. Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, it's right down here. Oxford Internet Institute. I guess that explains it. So we urge the ILO to adopt a convention on platform work based on these evidence-based recommendations for modification. First one is fair pay. I guess these are they're pillars. First one is minimum wage legislation should be extended to all platform workers, including those paid on a piece rate. This will be excellent if it does get passed, because it doesn't only apply like those who benefit from this will not only be platform workers, but like what would be the term, contract workers in general, who also experience pretty much similar conditions because they're contract workers. They don't get the same labor protection, including the minimum wage. So that would be great. The definition of working time used to calculate minimum wages should include both direct and indirect hours. Huh. I wonder what they mean by indirect hours. Is it talking about the waiting time? Hang on. Indirect hours wage. Indirect labor. Okay. Second form of compensation from an employer. They do not directly benefit the firm and are not paid to an employee for services provided. Examples of indirect salaries include paid time off. Oh, okay. Training, health insurance. Right. Labor protection, essentially, then. Yeah, that definitely, for sure. But why indirect hours, though? Oh, well. Workers, irrespective of their employment classification, should earn at least the local minimum wage or the wage set by the collective sectoral agreements, whichever is higher, after work-related cost. I mean, our minimum wage is shit. It ain't worth shit, but, that will be the first step, because we can push the minimum wage higher, but getting it there to ensure that it has better coverage, that's another issue. Because like as of right now, with our labor law, is not only doesn't cover everyone, and of course people working in the informal sector, they don't get covered by minimum wage laws, and also for MSMEs they get special privilege, where I believe that your minimum wage is if you're in an MSME is 50. It should be above the poverty line, and it should be at least 50% of the average consumption, which is not much, mind you. Let's say Jawa Barat. Can I just get the number, please? Can I get the number? Just give me. No. It's around 2 million, okay? Or even less if it's in Jawa Barat. If it's in West Java. It's bad. It's really bad. Okay. And workers, irrespective of their employment classification. But then, should earn at least a living wage. This kind of contradicts each other, right? Irrespective of their employment classification, should earn at least the local minimum wage. But then, living wage is a different thing entirely. I think it would be better if you stick to one term, living wage. Anyway, workers should be paid on time for all work completed. Yes, of course. Fair conditions, health and safety legislation should be extended to all platform workers. Yes. And I think they should specify that the platforms are obligated to meet similar obligations to meet these health and safety requirements. Platforms should have policies to protect workers from risk arising from their work and should take proactive measures to protect and promote workers' health and safety. Yes, pretty straightforward. When work is performed on the premises of a third party, the platform and the user should be jointly liable. The platform and the user, premises of a third party. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, makes sense. So let's say if you get into an accident, then the people that are liable is not only the driver, but also the company as their independent contractor. Well, as their worker in this case, honestly, at this point. It is important to accord a broad and purposive interpretation to terms such as in the course of employment, taking into account the realities of platform work. In the course of employment. Okay, I don't know what that means. I think there's some legal stuff happening here. Platforms should be made responsible for paying social security contributions on behalf of all such workers. So not just access, okay. And where state benefits are not available, should be encouraged to provide benefits, such as medical and disability insurance in line with local best practice. Absolutely. Excuse me. Platforms should implement measures to mitigate and reduce unpaid work and overwork. Emphasis on overwork here. Platforms should take adequate measures for the protection and management of workers' personal data. Yeah. Fair contracts. The right to information on terms and conditions should be extended to platform workers. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, that's why we're going. That's why we're pushing for ILO to create a convention for this, which ideally will be ratified by countries and then implemented through local regulations, right? So I don't know, maybe this could be done by some public attorney that could represent these drivers so that before they enter the employment with the platform companies, they have more understanding, clearer understanding of what they're getting themselves into. Should be communicated in a language that workers can be reasonably expected to understand. Yeah. Could there be like two separate documents? Like one is the actual contract, the other is the explanation of the contract and the terms and conditions? Would that work? Like, would the company be liable if, say, that what they state in the easier to read documents, the user-friendly documents, contradicts or differs from the actual contract? Again, I think there should be some public attorney presence for this, but God knows if we have the resources for that. The contract and or terms and conditions must be available. Let's put on some music. That reminds me. What the hell am I doing? There you go. The contract and or terms should be accessible to workers, and the applicable law should be that. Shit, I missed it. Or is it? Should be that of the country where the worker works. Regulations should prohibit clauses which unreasonably exempt the platform from liability for working conditions, yes, negligence, or the like. And should also prohibit clauses which prevent workers from effectively seeking redress for grievances which arise from the working relationship. Platforms should notify workers of proposed changes in a reasonable time frame. Yeah, absolutely, yes. And like, and it requires their approval as well. Like, you can't just make your own changes. I think that this is not exactly, I would phrase it differently. I would have wanted it differently. Like, if you want them to be partners, then treat them like one. This doesn't sound like it. It still sounds like the platform companies can still make their own decisions, regardless of the consent of the workers. Fair management should be provided with due process in relation to discipline and discrimination. Yes, absolutely. I don't know how that would work exactly, like without proper documentation. Like, I appreciate how nowadays these couriers, the drivers, when they deliver packages, they would take pictures when they deliver the package, right? I think that's one way of mitigating this from happening. But at the same time, I think one of the main issues that was raised in the video was that, say like you're delivering food and it's not the right food, then yeah, maybe there should be ways where the driver can actually submit an appeal to the platform companies that, hey, it wasn't my fault, it's the merchants, so they should be punished, not me. Even though, to be fair, I don't think they should be punished at all. Like let the ratings speak for themselves instead of like having to ban them or suspend them. And I don't imagine that the merchants would get a suspension or penalty. It's only the drivers. I mean, I don't know. Channel for workers to communicate with a human representative. Yeah. No AI bots. And to respond to workers with a reasonable time frame. All platform workers are effective protection against discrimination. Of course, absolutely. And I know that like these companies, they do these lip service of, oh, look at us, we're hiring people with disabilities. Oh, we're hiring women as well. I mean, they're all great, of course, but it kind of greenwashes the other fucked up things that they do. Platforms should promote equality of opportunity for workers from disadvantaged groups. Yeah, I guess that's same thing. Platforms should allow and set up mechanisms for expression of collective worker voice. Now, this one is quite interesting. Like, I don't know if... Has there been any cases where they're not allowed to unionize or bargain with an independent collective body? Okay. So the thing is, we've been doing this. So platforms should allow and set up mechanisms for the expression of collective worker voice, including recognizing or bargaining with an independent collective body of workers or a trade union representing workers. I hope we've been doing that. Although then again, we've been doing it through the Ministry of Transportation. Yeah. So maybe no, they don't really facilitate that. Like they don't change. Like when they apply the changes, it's through the coercive forces of the state, not the labor unions. Legislation should be revised to allow platform workers to collectively organize and bargain with the platform. Yes, absolutely. Existing collective labor rights. My voice. Ensuring fairness in platform work. Around the world. Renew joining requirements. Also facilitate precarious arrangement with low pay, poor working conditions. Yes. Professor argues that fair condition to address this lack of rights and protection. Oh, it's based on existing ILO fair standards. There's evidence provided by Fairwork project on the what's this? So they claim that it is based on assessment of 280 platforms. Let's see what this is then. Okay, what's this? Can we get like a source from them? Like, I'm not sure where this is from. Okay, Oxford and whatnot. Hang on. Let me cite that separately. Hello? Can I download? Oh, it's still loading. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. We, the signatories, demand the autonomy. On the contrary, problems posed by digital labor platforms require policy. Yes, first, we strongly object to the misclassification of platform workers. Yeah. Any labor protection relating to working hours, pay, occupational safety, and health. Yeah, they're shifting the risk. I think we've covered this. Okay, let's download this. Hang on. Okay, we can bring this back. I thought it was typed just now. Well, it's 29 pages, damn. Should definitely go through this at one point. Anyway, the hair is getting too long. It's so annoying when it goes down like that. This classification studies have shown that platform workers receive low pay, aggravated in some cases by failures to pay workers for the tasks they've completed. More than 20 in 2019-2022, only a fifth were able to provide evidence that worker earnings are equivalent to at least the local living wage. Damn, only a fifth. Looking handsome. Fuck you. Next, you're deeply concerned with the safety of platform workers. Research has cited a wide range of work-related risks faced by platform workers. Risk of accidents. Yeah. Here you go. Algorithmic management. The lack of transparency about the criteria used for assigning tasks, operation patterns, and evaluation and reputation systems. Opaque automated management systems are fueled by surveillance techniques as well as excessive and abusive data collection tools. The situation worsened by poor data protection policies on many digital labor platforms. Yeah, this is especially prevalent here, I guess. It's like shit, man. Like if you're an online driver, I know that like some drivers have expressed that you have to be on the move in order to get an order. That you can't just stay in one spot in a hot spot, let's say near a mall and whatnot. It's a lot easier to get an order if you're moving in the area instead of staying in one spot, which is wasteful, right? You can simply park yourself there, wait for the order, and then go. As long as you're within the vicinity, then that shouldn't be a problem, right? Hang on, the song is a bit loud to my recollection. Should probably re-record these songs. It's a different thing. Algorithm is king. It's like playing an MMO. The meta changes depending on the game. Systems, yeah. Oh god. And it's really fucks that, well, the meta is that you have to hack and create what was it? Like they use fake GPS location or something like that. So that but then I believe that these platform companies have deployed a stronger firewall or something like that. And drivers who are detected of using these methods are immediately suspended. Discrimination in algorithm management is a relevant concern. For instance, an ALO report shows that algorithms used in job matching may perpetuate gender biases. Huh. Including unequal pay for equal work and segregation of women into lower paying tasks or sectors. Okay. The problem extends to other aspects of platform work. Gendered wage gaps have been documented across platforms, with women earning less than men for performing. How are you getting the different? What? For like the thing is, like, it's for performing the same task. How are you earning less? Is it like, then it has to be the biases in the algorithm that the rates, the tariffs would go up easier, faster for men instead of women or something like that. Or just women in general just get paid less. That's fucked. Other studies have highlighted how algorithms can directly discriminate against other groups, including racial and ethnic minorities. Fucking tech bros, man. Moreover, discrimination in algorithm management is a relevant concern. For instance, we've read that. Particularly glaring feature of platform work is workers' lack of collective bargaining. Bargaining and representation are especially challenging for cloud work platforms, where the workforce is relatively atomized and isolated. According to a CSP study, Does it have to be stipulated though in the platform? Like when they enter an agreement with the workers, does it have to explicitly state that, oh, you're allowed to collectivize? Because like even in the absence of that clause in the contract, you can still establish your, maybe like without that, then there's less legal grounds for you to demand for something under one collective unit, I guess. That would be my interpretation, I guess. The hard realities of platform workers underline the urgency of developing international guidelines. Yes. Policy recommendations. Extend minimum wage legislation. Yes. This is not sufficient. Workers often spend a long time simply waiting for jobs. So this is what they mean by indirect hours? This one, right? Yeah, indirect hours. The number of working hours used to calculate earnings should include... Is this too small, by the way? Just realized that. Maybe I should zoom in. There you go. Number of working hours used to calculate earnings should include time workers spent waiting for jobs with their apps switched on. Yeah, if they're classified as workers, I guess you can make the arguments for that, but that's definitely a more difficult one to make. The definition of working time used to calculate minimum wages would include both direct and indirect hours, such as traveling to a task or waiting for a task. Huh. Wait. Oh, okay. So, say like we get a driver who's kind of far away from us. Then there should be a tariff to cover the cost of them to pick us up. Because I think so far that's not the case, right? Natural consequences. But you also have to look at it from the perspective that these are systems designed to reach optimal peak efficiency developed by engineers. Yeah, exactly. That's why they lack humanity. That are controlled by metrics that mostly refer to a company's bottom line. Yep. Understandable. But at the same time, you have to consider as well that, again, the middle management, the higher ups, and so on, they get paid an exorbitant amount of money. The founders get paid an exorbitant amount of money. So you can still maintain the bottom line. Sure, go ahead, buddy. All the power to you. But does it really have to come at the cost of the driver's well-being? Does it really have to come at the cost of the customers, in this case, by us having to cover platform fees and whatnot? I mean, of course, we are the most expendable. But again, I guess the market here, there has to be more incentive of condemning these people so that you have to disincentivize these type of behaviors. And in today's society, that's not the case. There's less call-outs for that. People actually aspire to be them. When you point out these type of issues, then they simply shrug and like, hey, I want to be like them. Given the opportunity, they would do it in a heartbeat. And that's the main problem, I think. Choose and say, indeed, capitalism at its core, baby. Yeah. Choose one and say, fuck you to two. Customers, employee, or shareholders. Oh. Choose one. Yeah, if it's capitalism, then yeah. Because like when you take out the shareholders and just leave the customers and employee, that will be an entirely different incentive structure, right? Then essentially you're just doing things for each other. But again, that's like we're talking about like post-capitalist society, and that's still a long way to go. There has to be more like societal push for less conspicuous consumption. Let's start with that. The desire for opulence. I think that's one of the brain rot of society. And how we need to not dehumanize, demystify billionaires and show them as the person that they are. They're generally selfish little pricks who don't know what the fuck people are going through. I think after that, then people would really, and also, yeah, just yeah, I think those two are the main things, yeah, that we could do for now. And of course, at the same time, pushing for better labor protection, stronger welfare state, and so on and so forth. Get people more politically engaged. But of course, but the thing is, whenever I say that, I immediately think like, do people even have the capacity to do that with how demanding their work is? Like, most people just want to go home and sleep and play with their pets or watch Netflix, because work is already, the way that we organize our work is already grueling enough as it is, that it's impossible to do anything else, or at least very difficult. Like, I'm able to do this because I have to take several steps to get here, and it comes at a cost. I know what those costs are. Like, you don't exactly get to see a consultant do these type of things outside of work in a consistent basis. But oh well. But I digress anyway. So yeah, definitely cover the cost of waiting and so on. Absorb most of the work related costs. Yeah. Shit. I need to be careful with the chair, with my footrest. Should earn at least local minimum wage. So yeah, okay, here we go. In many jurisdictions, the national minimum wage is set at a level that does not afford workers a basic but decent standard of living. In those cases where the minimum wage is less than a living wage, okay, workers are respective and whatnot. They just stick to living wage, I think, right? Or are they trying to cover the grounds for cases where the minimum wage is higher than a living wage? Is there even such an instance? Finally, workers often face the risk of a client not paying for the work performed or see their payment unduly delayed. Therefore, workers should be paid on time and for all work completed. Wait, okay, sorry, got distracted there. Workers often face the risk of a client not paying for the work performed or receive their payment. How does that happen? I think. Oh, maybe because if it's paid with cash instead of pure digital coins, digital wallet, that could happen. But nowadays, I think most people don't pay with cash anymore. I mean, my parents do when they order food. But I imagine that's like a small minority at this point. Ooh, that reminds me. Why don't we do this? Because I think my eyes are getting a bit tired. Preferences. Boop, boop, boop. Ta-da. There you go. Much better. Workers should be paid on time. Where a client considers that work is not completed satisfactorily, there must be a clear and reasonable process for rejection decisions. Yeah. Definitely. Like, you can't just go willy-nilly and suspend just because the customer gives the workers 1 star. Fair conditions. Platform workers may be exposed to substantial risk. Blah, blah. Yeah, I think we covered this. They also often have to work long and on unsocial hours. Extend health and safety to protect workers from risk arising from their work. Interesting. Yeah. I think, like, if you actually ensure minimum wage or livable wage, then there will be less incentives for these people, for these workers, to work overtime, to work long hours, 10 to 12 hours. Like, shit, man. Being on the road for that long, imagine that. Not to mention the social ramification, because for the most part, you don't exactly interact with other people. And not to mention the social expectation that the customers don't want you to speak. They're just treating you like a means to an end to drive you around. It's so dehumanizing sometimes, the way we treat other people. Crimes of a third party. Totally liable, yes. A broad and purposive interpretation, yes. I think we've read that as well. given that most workers depend on income. Yes, absolutely. So give them social security, social protection. Yeah. But the thing is, like, when you see this, like, they should be made responsible for paying social security contributions. Although I guess it's kind of supplemented with the requirement to pay minimum wage. Because I imagine that if you make this an obligation, then the platform companies can simply shift the responsibility through higher commission fees, for instance. Medical disability insurance, in line with the collaborative platforms, fair conditions. Okay. Fair contracts. Many platform workers. Okay. Limited opportunities to understand the rights. Oh, come on. Why is it dark? Hang on. Can I change that to black? Nah. Of course it doesn't change. Fine. Back to white. Which many jurisdictions already provide to employees should be extended to platform workers. This is speaking to the immigrants, I guess. The contracts must be available at least in the country's main languages where the platform operates, but also in other languages in case of significant participation of migrant workers. Yeah, exactly. Called it. To be communicated in a language that workers can be reasonably expected to understand. In some cases, the contract is applicable law. Well, that's weird. In some cases, the contract's applicable law is that of the country where the platform's headquarters are located, rather than that of the country where the worker works. Does that actually happen? This makes it very difficult for workers to seek legal redress in the case of issues. Yeah, that's fucked. It should be based on the country where the worker works. Accessible to workers, and the applicable law should be that of the country where the worker works. Yeah. Makes sense. Clauses limit the platform's location. In some cases, the contract requires workers to waive their rights to reasonable legal recourse against the platform. Are you kidding me? Again, reading between the lines. And I think that, I saw someone, Arif, probably, most likely, he posted that something about Gojek drivers, I think, or Shopee food drivers, that they're not allowed to unionize. Something like that. Or no, they're not allowed to protest. So fucked. Without giving any notice, okay? And should be prohibited from reversing accrued benefits or reasonable expectation on which workers have relied. Okay. Different systems, yeah, it's wild. How come? How come they don't allow the drivers to protest? Well, it's bad publicity. And they would be suspended if they capture drivers who do that. I think it's one of the new company policy or something. It's terrible. I must have kept the screenshot somewhere. It's probably buried in my Twitter bookmarks, which in all likelihood I probably won't read. 35 workers. Yeah, I still don't know if I could stand by this, because like, I mean, sure, if you want to exempt certain things like accrued benefits or reasonable expectations, these are very ambiguous. I would have appreciated if, say, if it concerns their livelihood, their pay, then it should be with the consent of the workers. But I don't think, but I understand that legally that's probably not possible because, well, it's just not because they're as long as they're still classified as independent contractors, partners, and whatnot, then I don't think it's possible to oblige these companies. At least I think so. Yeah, arbitrary deactivation, that's very prominent. Without explanation. Might face unfair penalties or disciplinary decisions which they find difficult or impossible to challenge. To be provided with due process, yeah. I mean, this is like, how do we let this pass? Like, jeez. I wonder if this is like in the contract that, oh, if you get 1 rating or 0 rating from X amount of drivers, then you will be suspended or things like that. If they don't, then there's really no legal basis. They can be sued for this. Are not neutral. Okay. Should provide a channel for workers to communicate with human. Yep. This is the same. The right of workers to organize. Platform should allow and set up mechanism for the expression of collective worker voice. So it should come from the platform companies. Legislation in the country excludes the self-employed from the right. What? Okay. That got me thinking. I was looking at, like, technically tonight, I was planning to go through our union regulation. I wonder if this applies to our regulation as well, that self-employed people are not allowed, well, they're not given the rights, provided the right to collectivize. Finally, even in the case of platform workers were able to join trade unions, it needs to be evaluated whether existing collective labor rights are adequately aligned to the conditions of platform work. And it's gray again. Okay, well, thank you, I guess. Conclusion. Platform work is currently providing a livelihood for millions of workers around the world. Pay, precarity, insecurity, and lack of rights. We, the signatories, strongly believe that it doesn't have to be this way. Okay. That's cool. I mean, we'll see what happens if ILO would actually adopt this convention. So like tomorrow there is, do I have this here opened? No, wait, this should be a page, but yeah. So this is the launch webinar. Wait. No, this is for the Global Manifesto. It's for the ILO event. This is what they were talking about. This is where they're going to fight for this to be adopted by ILO. And it's happening in a couple of days. The launch of the manifesto is tomorrow, again, at 3 p.m. London time, 9 p.m. West Indonesia time. Will be interesting to read. Hopefully I'll be able to attend it tomorrow. Or at least record it. And watch it. Oh god, okay. I am thirsty and a bit exhausted. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in just in a bit. I'll just grab some water. Because my throat is super dry. But it's been pretty intense. I was initially I was concerned that the materials that I prepared is not enough to warrant a stream. I have supplementary materials that we can, backup materials that we can go through, but apparently it's rich enough. Apparently it's fun enough. Brew a kettle in it, bruv. Bruv. I've just had tea, so I don't think that would be necessary. Alright, be right back. Let me mute. Okay, wait, can I make this appear? No, not that one. This? There you go. Ta-da. Now we have the music as well down there. Neato. Damn. I really appreciate what they're doing, especially when, considering that they were able to get a seat on the table of an ILO conference or something like that. Says this is serious shit and it can be a meaningful movement. And I think this is still new, which probably explains why it has a... Wait. Which probably explains why, like, one of the main things that I realized as I was skimming through the report was that there's, like, no answers for all of this. I guess we'll see. Whether they provide any explanation as to why you only get very limited answers. But here we go. Labor standards in the platform economy, Indonesia 2022 ratings. Executive summary. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay. Indonesia's platform economy, based on workers completing short-term tasks through digital platforms, has been associated with rapid growth. Yes. When did Gojek happen? It's been a while, right? 2017? Is it? Is it 2017? When did they start? Have we downloaded this? Yeah, we have. I'll read that later. I can close all of this. Okay. Beroperasi tahun 2009. What? I mean, it didn't exactly hit critical mass, I guess. By then. Yeah. Trying to think, like, back in high school. I don't think there were any Gojeks back then. It was during university. Yeah. That's when I started using them, I think. So it's been quite some time. So almost a decade, I think. Sarsar was, yeah, way back. My dad's old office was next to Nadim's in Jakarta before they were funded. Ah, still using phone calls and stuff. Shit, didn't know that. Crazy to think that it all started like that. Speaking of Nadim, I don't know if I've told you this. I don't think I have. I met him in Jakarta with Cicit when we went to an art gallery in Jakarta Barat. What was it called? Museum Macan. He's just there on his own, just chilling and enjoying art and whatnot. Some people did approach him and try to take pictures with him, but for the most part, people leave him alone, which is good. Like, I appreciate that people didn't do that. Yeah, it's wild as fuck, right? It's so random. Me and Titi, we were like just chilling on our own, and then at one point we were like, "Is that Nadim?" And the moment that he speaks, he immediately whip out that Valley Girl accent, and yep, that's Nadim, all right. Yeah, that's a pretty random encounter, but anyway. Hey, la la la. Of course, it's with UGM again. Those fine people there. Second year of Fairwork rate. Oh, second year. Okay. So they evaluate 11 platforms. So GoBox counts as a separate platform. That's interesting. Fair pay. No evidence was found for any platform paying all workers a fair wage. Oh, these are the main findings, right? Yeah, obviously, no fair wage. Fair conditions. 4 of the evaluated platforms protect workers from risk. You were not able to evidence such initiatives from other platforms. Yeah. None of the platforms have a sick pay mechanism that effectively compensates workers when they are unable to work due to illness. I'm curious to see the methodology. I guess this is still the executive summary, so they won't go into details. But yeah, definitely no, none of these. Labor protection, fuck that, no way. Fair contracts, most of the platforms have clear, accessible terms and conditions. Oh, this is interesting. That workers are notified within a reasonable time frame should there be a change. Okay. None of them that the terms of the condition are fairly shared risk. Of course not. Oh no. Like again, when I guess this is talking about the drivers who, you know, get the orders wrong and stuff like that, or get into accidents, and they don't really bear the cost. Fair management, also communication with workers. Workers are also able to seek clarification from management even though they no longer have access to the platform. Oh, so you get suspended and then you can submit an appeal outside of the system. How effective that would be. Okay. Clear and actionable policy and reducing work barriers for women and people with disabilities. Yes. They have documented policies in place to protect real workers from discrimination on grounds including race, within the driver's app. These 3 platforms will explain the mechanism underlying order payments and have a map feature. Oh, okay. So they have hotspots. But then... But then at the same time, I don't know if this still applies today, but the whole thing about you're not allowed to be, you know, immobile, like waiting, idle. You need to be always on the move. I don't know if that still applies today. Fair representation. I wish there's more elaboration on this part. Like, what happens exactly? How long does it take to submit an appeal? Who do they interface with? Is it with a human, for instance? Like, that's one of the conditions that they stipulate in their manifesto. Fair representation. Some worker associations are actively engaging with the platforms, yes, but they're not formally recognized by law or publicly recognized by the platform. They're not publicly recognized by the platforms? What do you mean? Okay. I think we'll have to zoom in a bit further for this one. There we go. Is that better? Should be fine. I seriously think that the next generation unicorns are founded from Discord groups. Oh god. Yeah, probably. But hopefully they're more sustainable. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think VCs now have more stringent requirements when they invest. So that they don't just pour money all willy-nilly. Our second year report highlights the dynamics within the Indonesian platform economy, for legal context, Yeah, this is the MOT regulation. In September 2022, reduction of fuel subsidies. Oh, so this is very recent then, this report. The regulation will raise the floor? Yeah. Now this is the unfortunate thing. This decision though has not been without challenge as there has been ongoing public pressure to postpone it. Yeah. I mean... well, did I also mention... I'm surprised they didn't oh wait, here it is. Oh, never mind. I thought they also mentioned how it cut off the commission fee from 20% to 15%. The maximum commission fee. It is a rule because our workers manage the challenge of depending on platforms for their income at the same time. Disliking management algorithm. Finding subtle ways, including third-party apps, I guess. Look at long-term platform workers, those who have stayed on their platform for more than 5 years and who are much older than the norm. Okay. Older workers find opportunities in platform work, given that alternative employment routes are often closed off. Yeah. But they've also seen their income potential fall over time as criteria for earning bonus payments are tightened up. Yeah, that's one of the main changes. I don't know what the changes were for like passenger drivers or passenger orders, but we've talked about how they cut off the incentive schemes for package deliveries by half. Final trend, observe ESG initiatives by platforms. The promises of the social component to help workers seem greater than the delivery. Of course. Ratings. There is much to be done. Findings call for okay. Score summary. Lie or below the halfway mark. The Romans have the paper. Okay. And there was insufficient evidence. Oh, so that's why. So they did the investigation, but there were insufficient evidence. I wonder why though. Like who are their sources? I imagine it should be the drivers, right? Although I guess like if you want to be objective, you need to cross-examine with the what was it? The company as well. Okay, let's skip that. So. Oop. Oh god. Okay, I'm getting a bit sleepy. Fuck. So this is the score. As I mentioned, only 4 companies were listed here. Maxim is only 1 star. That's sad. So I tried to click this, but it takes you to Bangladesh, not not Indonesia. Unfortunately. Hang on. Let's try that link. So Fairwork. Fair.work, sorry. Oh, why did I click it there? Dumbass. ID. Okay. Can we get the full breakdown? Oh, this is the launch, I think. Of course, we have Arif Nofianto, as always. I think this is one of the authors of the report, the Indonesian report. Maybe them as well. It'll be interesting to go through the video. Digitalk. Okay, let's actually watch on YouTube. Maybe mark this as wait. Oh, this is my right. Haha. That explains the playlist. Lol. Okay. Oh, but we can't get the individual breakdown? Okay, we have grab. Just click it. Okay. So this is the scoring system. Surprised they pass on fair management. Okay. Okay. The platform economy in Indonesia is increasingly become a subject of economic. The assessment report here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we assess evidence based on. Wait, I think it's a bit too loud. 5 Fairwork principles, combination of desk research and in-depth interviews with workers and platform representative in Jakarta. Okay. So the workers are only from Jakarta? All scoring was undertaken on a collaborative basis. Employees are here. 3 subsectors for the platform economy. This is still crazy in my opinion, that in 2018 Grab acquisition Uber. Like that's crazy. But just the local operations though, not the entire company. Still have Uber in the US. And I guess in UK as well. Probably. Indeed. No platform has. Okay, it is a race to the middle. But it is not a race to the top. Yeah. Other downsides of duopoly are evident. Well, they're the largest ones, right? As most of the platforms used by... Wait. Difficulty for new local startups to compete in the current transportation and or food delivery sectors. Yeah, this is what happened to Shopee Food and Traveloka Eats, I imagine. And Traveloka Mart as well. Why do they have to diversify like that? Like, jeez, just stick to one. So the duopoly this year we did include some new entrants, such as the food delivery services Shopee Food and meanwhile, is it closed? There was only a layoff, right? But Traveloka Eats has been disbanded. Yeah, it's been closed. So yeah, unfortunate. So Rosary, notwithstanding some progress at the margins, working conditions in Indonesia. Fairwork Indonesia team. As a result, the workers' movement overall is fragmented and associations face difficulties in scaling up their membership. Yes. Ah, so they've revoked the policy against worker demonstrations. Okay, that's good. So I guess it was Gojek then that had this policy against worker demonstrations, not Shopee. Yo, that is Republic Satellite. Cool. This is the team. Yeah, Ruth was in the Digitalk video just now, right? Economy. These are just the introduction. Fairwork countries, like damn, see, it's like a global initiative. That's, well, almost, I guess. It's crazy. It's really cool. 39 countries. Cool. Framework 5. I think we've gone through this in the beginning. Fair pay, fair conditions, contracts management and representation. Methodology, desk research, interviews and surveys, and interviews with platform management. Overall, okay. Desk research. Pretty straightforward, I guess, for this one. Platform interviews. I wonder how this go. They said that hang on, so platform managers are invited to participate in semi-structured interviews as well as to submit evidence for each of the Fairwork principles. This provides insights into the operation and business model of the platform, while also opening up a dialogue through which the platform could agree to implement changes based on the principles. Would they though? Really? Would they? In cases where platform managers do not agree to interviews, we limit our scoring to evidence obtained through desk research and worker interviews. Ooh, that's unfortunate. The third method is interviewing platform workers directly. Sample of 6 to 10 workers. 6 to 10? That's quite limited. Given the scale of the operation and the number of resources for this report alone, I would have expected a wider survey. Especially considering that Arif already made a study about this that covered the average income and all that. I doubt that it's only 10 workers. Otherwise, we have a completely different problem because it's not representative. Okay, fine. These interviews do not aim to build a representative sample. Fuck, okay. You read my mind. 6 to understand the process of work. See copies. Review that policies are... the interviews also allow the team to confirm or refute that policies or practices are really in place, right? That's good. So again, cross-examination, right? Sorry. Okay, ask a series of questions. Qualify. Okay, they need to work for at least 2 months. And the interview is only in the greater Jakarta area. A bit limited, I have to say. Makes me wonder. Like, is this like purely like academicians getting together, or... But no, there are other institutions involved in this particular report, so... But then again, it is created by the Oxford Internet something. So, maybe not a lot of money there. Because surveys are very expensive. How we score? Okay. Excuse me. Further details are in the appendix. Okay, I think we can skip this. Again, as always, these type of numbers never really interest me. Uber was burning mad cash back then, true. I think one of the main obstacles is that back then you need to use your credit card in order to use Uber. I think that's like a big no-no for us because we don't have access to that. Most people don't. Yeah, 12 million workers. Uber was the main. Two other ride-hailing companies, both originating in Russia, Maxim and InDriver, and quickly expanded beyond the capital city. That would be the interesting part. Are they? They're maybe not as prevalent here, but maybe in more remote regions where the market is untapped. Set up city-based. Oh, several local apps have recently been set up. Okay, now this is interesting. This I want to know. So we got, what's this? Jogja Kita. And of course both of them. Wait. And also Gojek. Do you have... Okay, we have... Okay. Hello, can I see... Okay. This is the city-based apps that we touched on. Got ride hailings, package delivery, shop, and food. Fascinating. Oh, it also facilitates online payments. Online tickets as well. Wow, this is fairly developed, I have to say. I was not expecting that. This is cool. Did I have like an official Twitter account? Let's see. There you go. They have a YouTube channel as well. Nice. But very small following. Okay, they got flash mobs. Oh, they've only made like 18 tweets, so I guess this is not their main media. The fuck? What is this channel? What? What is this? Oh no. Oh, we've been redirected to something completely different. So this is Kojak. Go food, ride, pay taxes. Okay, go car. You can charter the vehicles as well. Cool. Damn, now it makes me want to go to Jogja and try the app myself. Take it for a spin. And like the design of the interface of the, what was it, fuck. The webpage is pretty good. Oh. Wait, who the fuck are these people? Wait, am I opening a wrong? No, it is. Wait, these are stock statements. Yeah, these aren't real people, aren't they? I take my word back. Shit. Okay, that's unfortunate then. It's still in development, I guess. Oh well. So, Jogja kita. Okay, Jack in Malang. Okay. The operational realities are unclear. Interface application. Okay. Reported decreasing income. Okay, let's relax a bit. Why does it look so sketchy? I mean, it's probably like, again, probably not their main mode of marketing. I mean, people don't really open websites, right? This is in contrast to the right-hand sector. Maybe they have Instagram instead of... At least this one is legit though. It's not like a fake. Yeah. Except the... the YouTube account that I found. Which, to be fair, is not from the website. Oh, I would love to use this. Maxim. What makes a worker an employee? Okay. Has that made any notable developments? Yeah, no shit. Of course there were no mention in the job creation law. Music is a bit low. I still find it weird that wait, there are two main regulations on Ministry of Transportation. I'm surprised it didn't mention about the Ministry of Communication, because that's what regulates the delivery of packages, of mails and whatnot. Look at the subset regulations, more likely a win for the platforms. Yeah. Most of the so like in the old regulation, even the recent change is also it's still limited in terms of labor coverage. Another issue with this regulation is that very narrowly. I think I have the regulation with me. No, not this. Gig workers. It's this one. And even in this one, there's no mention about like obligations for platform companies to pay for protection and whatnot. Still shifts it to the drivers. Fuck. Okay, this one. Issue with regulation is that it very narrowly covered only motorcycle ride-hailing services. Yeah, exactly. Wait, does it finally mention about Ministry of? No, it doesn't. Well. Oh, wait, so back then it only applies for GoRide, not for GoFood and the others. That's unfortunate. It was rejected by consumers, so felt that the increase in rates will be too high. Is it though? Was it too high? Due to public pressure. Forgot how much was the increase. Reservation. Okay, so the scores. Despite working long hours, many workers can't earn even the local minimum wage. Workers have to put in additional hours to cover their expenses for fuel, vehicle maintenance fees, internet costs, and some are earning as little as 5,000 per hour, compared to the regulated minimum hourly living wage of 20k. That's a fourth of that. Note that in Indonesia, the terminologies of living and minimum wage are reversed compared to most countries. Work conditions, crap project, Oh, you got sick pay compensation. Okay, that's nice. Hmm. Accessible. Yeah, I think we get that already. Oops. Task specific risk. Research. Wow, there's a panic or help button for the drivers, so not just us, the consumers. Their contracts can access their terms and conditions. I wish there was a more explicit example on how the bonus incentive have changed for Grab. Although I guess they want to avoid libel. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to call it off now. I don't want to do the report a disservice. I want to properly read the case studies and going through each of the individual companies' platforms. I'm way too tired, way too sleepy. So my first time back streaming after 2 weeks, so my apologies if I'm not as resilient as I once was. Not that I'm ever resilient in the first place, so. But anyway, that's been fun. Learning about this. Of course, like, the main concern really is whether these are actionable things, whether something would actually come out of this, whether legislation will become the product of this initiative. That'll be something that we need to look out for. Because, well, I mean, it may all look good, but if it doesn't really amount to anything, then, well, not that it's useless, but it still raises awareness at the very least. And having like a stylized, formalized institution, publication to showcase these atrocities, let's call it, it's good. It's a good weapon for the workers, so that they have some material to fight for their rights, and that when they go down to the streets and protest, the consumers would have less pushback against it, because they would be more understanding, and they would have the information of the things that they have to go through. These drivers have to go through. I think it's good that they have those 5 pillars. Was it? Fair pay, fair working conditions, fair contract, fair management, and fair representation. I'm really surprised to see representation there to be included. That turns out, due to the nature of these drivers being contract workers, independent contractors, partners, whatever they call it, the platform companies are not obliged to acknowledge collective bargaining. That's really fucked. So it's good that they're pushing for that as well. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to watching the launch of the manifesto tomorrow. I want to hear what they have to say. So I'll get back to you with the report. an exclusive report on the webinar of the launch. Oh, my throat hurts. We really talked a lot tonight. And yeah, I guess I'll recap the results of the webinar, and then we can go through. We can finish up with the report, Indonesian report, and afterwards we can maybe watch Mata Najwa's exclusive on the tragedy that happened in that stadium. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's good to be back. How long has it been? It's almost. Oh, it's not even 3 hours. Oof. I feel like a failure now. But well, what can you do? Come on, force yourself. Oof, sorry. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Arya, I don't know if you're still there. Thank you for just unlock, I guess. I appreciate that. And Boo Boo, as always, thank you for being there. And Alnick, I saw you stopping by. Thank you as well, as always. It's always happy to have you here. Guys, that's it. I'll stream again on Sunday for sure. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say for sure. I don't know if that will happen, actually. It depends on my mood, but there's just way too many things to cover, and I need to remember that. But oh well. We'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you happen to stop by, okay? Take care now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And mute. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.